Hey friends, it is time for Module 3, Lesson 1. Make sure that you have your tracker out. We are at Lesson 1 right here. And you have your notes. You will be following along with me, so make sure that you have those out so that you can complete everything that you need to. And if you don't finish the video, make sure you put whatever slide you're on this square right here so that you know what to do. Remember, that is the expectation so that we can stay on pace. All right, so you just watched this video. Make sure you have your headphones on. All right, so we're going to count by sixes. Remember, you can draw or type. So after you watch the video, make sure you count by sixes on that. Okay, so our essential question today is, how can understanding the commutative property of multiplication help us multiply? And we've done the commutative property before. So how much do you already know about the commutative property of multiplication? Remember, do you know a lot, a little, or nothing at all? And that's okay. That's why you're here. All right, so this is our fun multiplication chart. It's going to help us multiply. We have our factors on the top in columns and in rows. So if you follow, if we're trying to find 2 times 2, we're going to go 2 down until we get to 2. And so 2 times 2 is 4. If we do 3 times 6, we would just do 3 here and 6 across, and that's 18. If we did the same thing, 6 times 3, it would still be 18. So that's the commutative property of multiplication. So we're going to talk about arrays and multiplication and elaborate by applying arrays to the commutative property. Remember, arrays are columns and rows. Columns go up and down, and rows go left to right. So this is an example of a row. Here is our row. We have 1, 2, 3 rows, and 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So if we do our multiplication sentence, rows to columns, it would be 3 rows of 4. That would be our equation. All right, so this array shows 3 rows, 4 columns, and the answer is 12. If we did the commutative property and rotated it, it still shows 12 because it's now 3 columns and 4 rows. It's still the same product, but it's just flipped. All right, so on your notes, so you're working with me, so the array in the photo has 15 flowers. It has 5 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 rows, 1, 2, 3. We are going to arrange it to where it shows the commutative property, 3 columns and 5 rows. So remember, columns are up and down, rows are left to right. So if we want 3 columns, we have 1, 2, 3 columns, 5 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you have that on your paper, but now we got to fill it in the rest because we want all the rows to be equal, all the columns to be equal as well. So make sure this is on your paper. Okay, so that should be on this paper right here. Great. So we can write 2 related multiplication equations. We had 3 times 5 is 15. And when we switched it, it was 5 times 3 is 15. So this one's 3 times 4 equals 12. The factors are the numbers that are multiplied to get the product, and 12 is the product. Here we flipped it to 4 times 3. Instead of 3 times 4 is 12, we have 4 times 3 is 12. So this is the commutative property, where the factors remain the same, but they're in a different order. All right, so this is also on your notes. So 8 times 6 is the same as how many 8s? So if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we just have 6 8s. We just flip the factors. So 8 times 6 is the same as 6 times 8. Super simple, right? You're just flipping the factors. You still have the same product. The factors are just different. So now let's look at these seashells. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So how many 7s? We have 5 7s, which is equal, the same as 7 times 5. So our equation is 5 times 7 equals 7 times 5. Remember, make sure that's on your notes. Right there, okay? Make sure that's on your notes. Alrighty. And last, we have some ice cubes. We have 1, 2 rows, and each row has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 2 8s is the same as 8 2s. So 2 times 8 equals 8 times 2. Commutative property, factors flip, still have the same product. All right, so this is going to be something that you do on your own, okay? So the instructions say, write the 2 multiplication equations that go with this array. So look at this array, think about how many rows and how many columns, and you can either draw, remember draw, type, or you can write on your whiteboard and take a picture. Super cool, right? So make sure you do that. So now we're going to evaluate our ability to apply the commutative property of multiplication. You have a quiz. That's 4 questions. What equation is this array showing? You'll look at this picture. Is this 5 times 5 equals 10, 5 times 2 equals 10, 2 times 5 equals 10, or 10 times 2 equals 20? Select all that apply, so there may be more than one. Then you have another question, same thing. What equation is this array showing? If you're given 7 times 3 equals 21, which equation shows the commutative property? So think about what 7 times 3 equals 21. If you need to draw it on your whiteboard, do it. Think about what the commutative property, what would the factors be flipped? And then same thing, given 9 times 6 equals 54, which equation shows the commutative property? So just flip those factors. All right, and the last thing is a poll. How confident do you feel in your ability to explain the commutative property of multiplication? Are you very confident, somewhat confident, or not confident? And then once you answer that, you have the puppy and you can move on. So remember, you're now going to check off, make sure all of your notes are done, and you can check off lesson 1 video, and now you can play the grocery game if there is a partner ready to play the grocery game, or you can try the student check, which is in your classroom, partner work, lesson 1. There will be the folder that you'll get the recording sheet and the picture of the shelves. Find your partner. If there's not a partner available, move on to the self-check. Turn your work into your hanging pockets. Make sure you read the directions. And have fun. So if you don't have a partner, go to your self-check, okay? If you have any questions, ask Addison, Emmanuel, or Santiago, or when you're with me, you can ask me. All right, good luck.